Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. So moving on, today we're going to discuss the muhalla bi al, meaning the alif lam lamu ta'rif of on word which comes on ism to make it ma'rifah. Okay? So before we go through the text, I want to have a brief understanding of this. You have alif lam, correct? Okay? Now alif lam can come for three purposes. Okay? It can be for ahad, something called istighraq, something called jins. So you have alif lam, and alif lam can come for one of three purposes: ahad, istighraq, or jins. What is ahad? It came before ahida ya'hadu, to be familiar with something. Okay, ahida, familiar. So what does that mean, familiar? It means that you are familiar with this word either because it came before. So let's say, for example, I'm having a conversation with you. I said to you that I got this book called Mufradatul Quran. The book is very good. So now, because I've mentioned it before, when I said the book now, you automatically know that I'm referring to the book mentioned before. Okay? If I said to him, oh, I got my tires changed, he knows because what? He did an MOT and he knows that what? The tires needed changing. So I don't have to mention tires previously, but because when I said I got tires changed, what happens now? Automatically his mind goes to the tires that were not good on the MOT. Do you understand? Okay? Or hudur. You haven't mentioned it before. Not something that everybody's aware of, but if I say al-yawm, what does al-yawm literally mean? The day, literally. But when you translate it as today. Do you understand? Because it's present with us. And those are the alif lams that we are commonly aware of and very easy to recognize. The second one, we have istighraq, where alif lam comes in the meaning of all. Innal insana lafi khusr. Indeed, man. And here means what? Like all men. Innal insana khuliqa halu'a. Okay? Now this can be two types. One is, it means istighraq, meaning haqiqi or urfi. Haqiqatan meaning reality, meaning in reality every single person who comes under insan is fi khusr. Or urf, regarding a particular context. That everybody that comes under this context. For example, we have in the Quran, Ja'a as-saharatu, and the magicians came, alif lam for jins, alif lam for istighraq. All the magicians, meaning all the magicians that Fir'aun called to come against Musa, they all arrived. So the alif lam is for istighraq, but not istighraq every single magician in the world, but rather istighraq of urf, meaning the contextual istighraq. You following those two so far? And alif lam, so basically have ar-rajul, it can have any of these meanings, depending on context. Jins. What does it mean by jins? It means one of two things. You refer to something generally. You're talking about man as a particular like man. Man is like you're not trying to say that every single man. But you add, for example, you could say that Asians are like a stereotype. Asians are usually Asian parents are more strict than non-Asian parents. Is that applied to every single Asian parent? No. But it's something generally. So you're applying to something as a concept. Do you understand? Humans have more love for their children than animals, but some humans are worse than animals. They leave their children to die. They don't feed them, they just beat them up. But you're talking about on a whole. Do you understand? You get what I'm trying to say? So that's like meaning generally speaking. So generally speaking. Okay? And sometimes, this is a bit weird for us now. Sometimes the alif lam can come on a word and it basically has nakira meaning. Referring to one unknown, it's just like nakira, just like rajulun. You're referring to one unknown or unspecified member of that species. Now why would you say rajulun instead of ar-rajul? Why would you say ar-rajul if alif lam, jins, but to mean one unknown unspecified member of that species as opposed to a nakira word? I don't know. For example, why would you say, for example, it comes to the Quran, Mathalu nurihi ka mishkatin. That's nakira. Why not say kal mishkat and have it as this meaning? I don't know. Why say akhafu an ya'kulahu dhib? As Yaqub alayhi salam said, I fear that a wolf may eat him. So why not say akhafu an ya'kulahu dhibun? So why not have nakira? I can't find the answer. Until as today I have not found the answer. I don't know. But I do know that alif lam comes in this meaning. Why would you use it over nakira? I don't know. I've tried finding it. I couldn't find it. If anybody comes across it, let me know. I'll be very grateful. Okay? So you got a rough idea? Yeah? Now let's go over the text. Now what happens in the text? The authors have mentioned alif lam jins at the beginning. Look at me here, follow. Alif lam jins at the beginning. Then they go on to ahad and istighraq. Then they come out to jins again. So I'm going to discuss this and this together. And I'm going to erase the part in between. So we're going to discuss this. وَأَمَّا الْمُحَلَّى بِأَلْ. We're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss this. I'll leave this part out and then discuss this afterwards. Okay? So this is how we're going to discuss it. This is the missing section here. وَأَمَّا الْمُحَلَّى بِأَلْ. As far as alif lam, muhalla, that word, which is decorative of alif lam. As far, that word which has alif lam on it. فَيُؤْتَى بِهِ إِذَا كَانَ الْغَرَضُ الْحِكَايَةَ عَنِ الْجِنْسِ نَفْسِهِ. It is brought when the maqsad, when the purpose, the objective is to narrate, hikayah, to speak about. You see here? To speak about. When the purpose is to speak about a species directly, about a species in itself. For example, al-insanu haywanun natiqun. So natiq means someone has the ability to speak. So a human being is a living entity which has the ability to speak. And the alif lam that comes on this is called what? Alif lam jinsiyya. You understand? Okay? And then he goes on in your book and he discusses something else and he comes back to this again. So at the end it says here, وَقَدْ يُرَادُ بِأَلْ. And sometimes you have alif lam, but by alif lam you intend or you point out towards a fardin ma, any or unspecified. You have any or unspecified member, fard member, an unspecified member of that species. Okay, for example, this poem. وَلَقَدْ أَمُرُّ عَلَى اللَّئِيمِ يَسُبُّنِي. Sometimes I pass by al-la'im. La'im is so ignoble, vile, very not good in manners. So I pass by and he says here, an ignoble person. Nakira. Because from the context, you know he's not talking about somebody in particular. He's not trying to abuse somebody or cuss somebody. He's just talking about generally. Okay? I pass by a la'im, an ignoble person or a vile person. What's the sifa? And this is why, what is supposed to be yasubuni? Ma'rifah followed by a sentence supposed to be what? What's supposed to be? Hal. It's supposed to be hal. But because la'im is a what? What kind of meaning? It's a nakira meaning, even though it has what? So this becomes what? It's not, or you call it sifa. Not or sifa. Do you understand? So I pass by a vile person who is swearing at me, degrading me. فَمَضَيْتُ ثَمَّةً. Now thammat is really the word thamma means there. Thamma means there. And I don't ta on it sometimes, I mean thammat, meaning over there. I pass by there and I say, قُلْتُ لَا يَعْنِينِي. He does not mean me. I just ignore him. Okay? So you may not appreciate this one. Let's look at the Quran. Look at these. We have a few ayat here and a few ahadith. And let's look at the alif lam. These are all alif lam jins. But what is it jins? Is it jins to refer to the jins on a whole? Or one member of the jins? So وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ. And we have made every living being from water. It's referring to the jins of water. Generally speaking, they all have water. Okay? مَثَلُ الَّذِينَ حُمِّلُوا التَّوْرَاةَ ثُمَّ لَمْ يَحْمِلُوهَا. Those people who were given a Tawrat, then they did not fulfill its rights. كَمَثَلِ الْحِمَارِ. They are like, translated, they are like a donkey. Why say a donkey for? Somebody first year will say, why are you saying a donkey for? Has alif lam on it, has to be the donkey. Because why? The alif lam is for jins of donkeys is referring to a fardun غير معين في من أفراد الجنس. One member of the himar jins. Why not say himarin? I don't know. But this is what the Arabs use this. I don't know. It's just the way the Arabs speak, and the rules came afterwards. I don't know. I don't know why. I kind of figure it out. If I do figure it out, I'll probably make a little follow-up video. You can click and go to it or something. But at the moment, I don't know. Okay. When people ask me that question, I'm stumped on that one. قال إني ليحزنني أن تذهبوا به. Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, regarding him, his father said, Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam, يحزنني أن تذهبوا به. It saddens me or it grievens me that you take him, and I fear that the wolf. Some of us have gone and said, oh, maybe he saw a wolf in his dream or everything. But generally saying no, that is referring to a wolf, meaning any dhib from the member of the jinns of dhib. You understand? That's what I say. I fear that a wolf may eat him. وَأَنْتُمْ أَنْهُ غَافِلُونَ. Whilst you are unaware of him. Now the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, he said that I saw the vision of Mi'raj, not Mi'raj, the vision of the either he saw in a dream or he saw in Mi'raj, where he would actually see what was going to happen. He saw وَرَأَيْتُ النَّبِيَّ وَمَعَهُ الرَّهْتَ, and I saw a prophet, and with him was a small group. Rahta, a group between 3 and 10, a very small group. وَالنَّبِيَّ وَمَعَهُ الرَّجُلُ, and I saw a prophet with him was what? One man. One prophet had one follower. وَالنَّبِيَّ وَلَيْسَ مَعَهُ أَحَدٌ, and a Nabi, but he had no followers. It's a Nabi, but nobody followed him. Do you understand? So look, all of these Nabi is what? A prophet, a prophet, a prophet. Because what? Is one fard of the jinns. وَإِنَّ الرَّجُلَ لَيَصْدُقُ حَتَّى يَكُونَ صِدِّيقًا, and a person speaks the truth until he's written by Allah, he's written in the eyes of Allah as what? As a Siddiq. And a person, لا يكذب, he lies until he's written as a كذاب. So again, this is what? فرد غير معين تحت أفراد الجنس. Are you following? Yeah? Now going back to the book. So first he mentioned jinns, and now he's going on to ma'hud. Sometimes, awil hikaya, the purpose of alif lam is brought on a word to speak about, talk about a known fard from the jinns. Okay? So you have, for example, you want to talk about rajul, one particular rajul. You want to talk about talib, one particular talib. Do you understand? So alif lam, we call alif lam ahad. So alif lam can be brought to speak about a known member from the afrad of the jinns and to speak about its familiarity. For example, how is it familiar? How do we know about it? Okay, so these are mistakes here and typing errors. It's not amma, it's supposed to be what? Imma, because amma means as far as, and imma means either. So these are all mistakes here, typos, yeah? So ignore that. So imma bitaqaddumi dhikrihi. How is it become ahad? How is it familiar? Because of its dhikr, of its mention coming before. Easy example, we use this over and over again. Kama arsalna ila fir'auna rasula. Allah is telling us, we sent a messenger to Fir'aun. As we mentioned, Allah says, فَأَصَى فِرْعَوْنُ الرَّسُولَ. So this Rasul is become alif lam, has come on a fard of the Rasul jinns, because the word Rasul is mentioned prior to it. So we know because of taqaddumi dhikrihi. وَإِمَّا بِحُضُورِهِ بِذَاتِهِ, because it's present in itself. Al-yawm, so al-yawm refers to what? Today. The day meaning today. وَإِمَّا بِمَعْرِفَةِ السَّامِعِ لَهُ. It's not present, it hasn't been mentioned before, but when you say in a particular context, everybody knows who you're talking about. Allah says, لَقَدْ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ إِذْ يُبَايِعُونَكَ تَحْتَ الشَّجَرَةِ, when they were taking allegiance to you under the tree. Which tree? Everybody knows that Baytul Ridwan took place under a particular tree. So automatically when we say this context, we know we refer to that particular tree with the Sahaba radiallahu anhum took bay'ah and allegiance to the Prophet under. For example, إِذْ هُمَا فِي الْغَارِ, when the two of them were in a cave. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, when you talk about cave, and the Prophet and Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu in the context of Hijrah, it automatically refers to what? Ghari Thawr. Again, you don't have to mention the name. Okay? وَتُسَمَّى الْأَهْدِيَّةً, and this is called alif lam ahdiyah. Does that make sense? You following? Okay. And some, I say, the third purpose, awil hikayata an jami'i afradil jinn. Sometimes the objective is what? To speak about all of the members of that particular species. For example, innal insana lafi khus. Indeed, all men are in loss, illa alladhina amanu wa aminu salihat, except those who believe and do good. But to samma al-istighraqiyya. This is called what? Alif lam istighraqiyya. Following? Make sense? We'll look at a few examples. Innal insana lafi khus is istighraq, isn't it? Haqiqi or fi? Hakiki, because all people are lost, except those who believe and do good. Innal insana khuliqa halu'a. Man's nature is that he's halu'. This is what all human beings. What halu' means ungrateful. And Allah explains the meaning of halu' later on. Okay?
But then don't you get someone kind of...
That's why you have illa from it. Illa. That's why you can have istisna from istighraq.
So, you want to say that again, sorry?
Because istighraq is referring to everybody, you can have istisna from it. So you're trying to say everybody except. So you can do istisna from alif lam istighraq. Because you're trying to refer to everybody, but it may not apply to everybody. So you say, wal as innal insana lafi khus. Because all men are in loss, except, because you're trying to say, if you're talking about a jins, you can't do istisna from a jins. Because it's a general concept. You get what I'm trying to say? And look, this is a story talking about Fir'aun. وَأَرْسِلْ فِي الْمَدَائِنِ حَاشِرِينَ يَأْتُوكَ بِكُلِّ سَاحِرٍ عَلِيمٍ. Send a message in the public and people will come, all the magicians will come. And then they will fight for me, meaning Fir'aun, against Musa. وَجَاءَ السَّحَرَةِ. The Alif Lam says what? فَإِسْتِغْرَاق or jins? It's not a jins. You can have a concept of magicians coming, can you? It's either a particular group of magicians or istighraq, all the magicians came, meaning, and it's urfi. All the magicians in that particular area came.
He will have a creature.
Today is still rocking up. Group, I mean contact. I mean,
So Hakiki is like real.
Hakiki means every single member of that jinn, like insan.
And Urfi is?
Like regarding the particular context. So not every single magician was the magicians that lived across the continent.
Okay.
So it means all the magicians in that particular land.
Area, okay.
Yeah.
So Urfi is referring to
A context.
all the, for example, all of everything in one specific spot.
Area, context, location. Okay. Okay. Following? Right. Now this links up to another chapter. We done qasr before in the previous book. So he says, إِذَا وَقَعَ الْمُحَلَّى بِأَلْ خَبَرًا. Usually, if the khabar should be nakira, isn't it? But if the khabar is mu'arraf bil lam, what does it give? The faida of qasr, emphasis and restriction. هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الْوَدُودُ. So what's happening here? This is huwa is mubtada'un. And huwa al-ghafur and al-wadud, they're both what? Khabar. But what did it have on it? So what does it mean? Not he is a forgiving person. You say what? He is the. Okay, the only. Why? Because it's qasr. To do restriction and put emphasis. He's the only one. Or he's the forgiving. Do you understand? Okay, this is very, very important. This alif lam. Okay, especially when it comes to hadith and all that kind of those kind of texts, you need to be able to recognize it and translate it accordingly. And it's very easy. It might seem difficult when you see alif lam in a context. You might know this is not alif lam. It's not ahad here, so it has to be fardun min afradil jins. Understand? Okay. Any questions regarding this?
No, just explain the last part. What do you mean that? How did you translate that?
If I say, for example, Anta talibun. You are a student. What does that mean? The other students as well. But if I say Anta talib, I'm creating what? A qasr. Remember that before in the previous book? That the talib is only you. You are the only student. Nobody else. Anta talib. You are the talib. Anta mujrimun. You are a criminal. So there are many other criminals. But Anta al-mujrim. You are the criminal. You are the one who done this crime. You are the criminal. Do you understand? So by bringing alif lam in the khabar, it creates qasr. This will be discussed in a later chapter, inshallah. Yeah? Subhanallah bihamdi, subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika, wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.